because of his guilt and his felony status, there are some countries that will not allow him to enter. Uh,
But he can just pardon himself, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, he can't in a state. He can only pardon himself from a federal,
Oh, that's true.
not the state. And the felonies are in New York. So, this is fun. Red herring. Okay, you hear this a lot. I don't know the origin of it. Can you have herring that's red? This is a diversionary tactic that avoids the key issues, often by avoiding opposing arguments rather than addressing them. Example, the level of mercury in seafood may be unsafe, but what will fishers do to support their families?
Watch the presidential debate, quote unquote, and both candidates did this the entire time. What's A? I don't know, but B is blah, blah, blah.
My water has not defrosted from outside yet. So I'm getting thirsty. All right. So red herring, a distraction. That has nothing to do with what we're arguing about, but you come up with that to distract us. It's a red herring. I don't know if they even have red herrings. I've seen herrings before, usually packed in mayonnaise or oil, but I think it's the kind of food that you have to have culturally been immersed in order to like it. I'm not sure. Straw man, literally, a straw man is when you take straw and you create, kind of like the straw man in the movie, not Alice in Wonderland. The one where Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. Yeah, and straw man is one of her friends. Right? You put straw in a suit, and you literally have an imitation of a particular individual. And often they like to burn those in effigy. So I've seen crowds in various countries burning politicians in our country, because they don't like the decisions Americans have made that they've been taught to think are horrible for their own country by their own leadership, who's using that as a red herring probably in order to distract from all the bad things that they themselves are doing. Straw man. And what you're really doing with this is you're taking a particular opponent and framing something they said and making it in a silly argument. In fact, you might even use kind of a reverse slippery slope to say that, kind of imagine, if he thinks this, he's probably thinking this. And so you're creating a straw man, which is easy. You could easily defeat a straw man because there's no real man there. There's no real argument back.
The best argument back is, hey, you want to stick to the subject. It throws people off every single time.
Moral equivalence. This fallacy compares minor misdeeds with major atrocities. The parking attendant who gave me a ticket is as bad as Hitler? I've never heard that one.
You've heard a lot of as bad as Hitler lately, though.
That's, years ago, I read a book called Hitler by, am I going to remember the author's name? No, but I remember, I used it in my thesis, actually. But basically and he was German, actually, and argued that Hitler was actually considered brilliant. The Volkswagen is an example, the Autobahn is another example. The idea that he turned the economy of Germany around within a very short period of time from one that was a complete disaster because of the post-World War One.
I mean, I get that,
Yeah.
but any economy on a war footing increases. That's an asinine comment. But
Well, they weren't on a war footing.
World War
They
II
were.
was absolutely a war.
Oh yeah, but that didn't happen until 1938.
Right, but that's because when Hitler rose and the Nazi Party
32.
rose, they cut off all the things that were
Yes,
hindering them from
they-
World War One.
Yeah, well, he had the kind of,
They're like, we're not doing that anymore. So that's what-
yeah, he had the chutzpah. Well, it's probably wrong to say
But I knew it.
he had a Jewish characteristic. Sorry about that. But, so moral equivalence. Is that all from this page? It is.
I looked up a whole bunch of different pages. That's pretty common. Like, I think Wikipedia of all places other than like books was the only place
Yeah.
I saw a full list.
Well, I'm not sure that's the kind of list we'll ever have a completely full list, but.
Well, I mean,
But
a
I
long
do
list.
have to end, but remember the quiz question for today was please send me a link of your favorite comedian doing something. And keep in mind that I'm trying to track down what kind of fallacious reasoning they use as the basis for their humor, So make a guess. Make a guess. See if you can figure out what kind of fallacy they're using. And it does seem to me that they use a persistent fallacy. So that I've not seen a comedian use, a hasty generalization and a slippery slope. And then, I don't think they seem to be on a particular algorithm, basically, in order to come up with their humor.
I think a
Okay.
lot of comedians find what works for them and they stick with it.
Any questions for me? How are you all guys? All you guys. Y'all, how y'all doing? Is that I did live in Texas for 3 months. And I did visit North Carolina for a week. So be safe.
I got to thinking about red herring. I think it probably, just deducing where the story comes from, I bet red herring is like, we don't just eat herring, we fish with herring, right? A red herring would be easy bait for a bigger fish to see, right? So it's red herring, chase this instead.
Really?
That's what I think. I don't know that that's what it is, but that's what I was thinking.
Thank you.
Brought a good point. I don't know if you're aware, for vets, they raised our retirement. They're going to raise it this year 2.5% if it stays for inflation because of cost of living allowance.
Thank you. See you on Thursday.